So get yourself two props that are the same size. So if you have yoga blocks, 2 yoga blocks will work. If you don't have yoga blocks, find 2 pillows or even fold up some towels or roll towels, and these will just be for under your knees a little later. So you'll just want 2 things that are the same size. And then you'll also want a bed pillow or a cushion of some kind. And welcome. We're going to start on our seat. Go ahead and take a block or your folded towel, and we're just going to use that underneath the hips to raise the hips a little bit. Come into a comfortable seat. So just stacking one ankle in front of the other. Let the knees and legs be heavy. If they're a little bit lifted, you can use those towels or pillows underneath your knees. Just give yourself a little support so you don't press into the groin too much. And then walk yourself forward so that your pelvis tilts a little bit towards the feet. You can bring the hands onto the thighs and go ahead and bring the thumb and index finger together. Coming in to find a comfortable meditative seat. And then go ahead and just rock yourself forward, rock yourself back, and see if you can find that place where the bones just stack up. So the place of least effort. And tonight we'll focus on Manipura. The element for this chakra is fire. And Manipura is here in the belly. So as you start to draw your breath a little deeper, making your inhalations and exhalations a little longer and settling in here, go ahead and just bring your awareness to that area in the belly. Breathing down into the belly. And when we breathe into the belly, we're not actually breathing air into the belly. We're just inflating the lungs so full that the diaphragm pushes against the organs, and that's what you feel sort of pop out. So go ahead and settle here. Allow each breath to get a little bit longer, a little bit more profound. Feeling that inhalation creating space in the body, and as you exhale, allowing the body to settle. Exhaling out any thoughts of the day, any worries or concerns that might distract you for this next 75 minutes of practice. Go ahead and find 3 more breaths here. Just inhaling, start to feel that belly fire. As you exhale, letting go to gravity. And we'll go ahead and open class with the vibration of Om. You can join me if you wish. Go ahead and exhale out all the air and take a full big breath in through the nose. And let it blank breath exhale out the mouth. On the next inhale, raise the hands up overhead. Get nice and tall here, bringing the palms together, exhaling the hands back to heart center. Oming together on the next exhalation. Setting the intention for this evening's practice. May I speak the truth. May I know the truth. And then go ahead and roll off your block, coming into standing here. So we're gonna come to stand. We've been working through the elements. So we'll start with this stance, feet a little wider than hip distance. Rock and roll yourself on the soles of the feet, just gently coming up onto the balls of the feet, and then sinking back down onto the heels. Feeling the feet below you. And then we'll start with these Qi Gong twists. So just opening up through the central channel. Let the arms be free. And we're gonna knock on those doors of life, allowing the hands to tap on the kidneys gently. And as you start to waken up the kidneys, go ahead and tap on the tops of the shoulders, very gently. Waking that central channel up, just twisting around the belly. And then slowly start to release from the shoulders and just tap gently on the kidneys, knocking on the door of life. Kidneys is where the birth chi is stored. So just awakening that sense, connecting to your birthright here, behind the belly, at the back of Manipura. And then slowly start to release the technique without stopping the body. Just release the hands from tapping on the kidneys. And then slowly, as you release the technique, you'll find that your body might keep moving from the fluid in the body. Just go ahead and let it find stillness slowly without stopping it. And we're going to sweep down through the meridians. We're going to use the belly, the stomach spleen meridians, as well as some of the fire meridians of the body. So starting with the stomach meridian right below the eyes, just sweeping down the front, alongside the outside of the legs, out the foot, and then drawing it back up through the arch, inside the legs, up the groin, and around the sides of the ribs. Pause there. And then we'll do this 2 more times. So hands just below the eyes, sweeping down the face, the neck, the front of the body, outside of the legs, out the toes on the blade of the foot, and then back up through the inside of the legs, up along the outside of the ribs. Pause there. One more time. Pausing outside the ribs, take a full breath in and a full breath out. And then go ahead and take the feet wide, bend the knees slightly, and turn the toes out just a little bit. And find a horse stance here. Allow the tailbone to relax and drop down, and you can zip the pubic bone up just a little bit towards the belly button. You can bring your hands to the tops of the thighs, and we're going to take some lion breath for our pranayama today. So lion's breath is letting all the air out and bringing the tongue out as well as you exhale. So you can inhale in through the nose, and as you exhale, see if as you exhale you can expel all the air in the body. With your own breath, inhaling in through the nose And as you exhale, you'll use the thighs here to steady yourself. You might find that as you exhale, you want to sink into those thighs. That's great. Go ahead and let yourself take 3 more lion's breath here. Inhaling in through the nose, letting the tongue out on the exhale. Really embodying that lion. Take 2 more. Last one. Go ahead and take 1 more breath here. And then gently start straightening the legs. Walk the feet together just a bit. It's still pretty wide here. And we're going to squeeze out the shoulders. Squeeze the shoulders up to the ears. Shoulder blades together in the back. And then release. You're welcome to add a lion's breath to this on the exhale. Squeeze, squeeze, and then 1 more like that. Beautiful. We're going to give ourselves a little pranic bath here. So as if you're scooping something up, drawing it up and over you. Keep the elbows together as long as you can, and then the backs of the hands will roll together. Keep the backs of the hands together as you come up, and then as you bring the arms back, you're just going to brighten those fingers and come back to where you started. So as if you're scooping up, drawing something over you, reach up, backs of the palms are together, and then back all the way down. Brighten the fingers. Last one. And then as you find your way back, we're going to come down into Malasana. So bring the hands in prayer to the heart, and then toes out about 45 degrees, and gently draw yourself down. You'll bring the elbows just inside the knees and use them like a lever to open the thighs a little bit. You can keep the hands in prayer. You can bring the backs of the hands together, or you can bring one fist inside the palms. Keep pressing into the thighs by creating a unit of tensegrity. So you're just straightening the arms, and without any effort, you're going to open those thighs up. Opening in the inner groin. Go ahead and take 1 more full breath in and a full breath out. As you exhale, you can bring the fingertips to the mat, and we're going to come into hero's pose. So dorsal side of the feet are down, tops of the feet are down, and you can just come back to sit on the heels. Now, if this isn't comfortable for you or not quite available, just come up, bring a pillow underneath you, and raise yourself up a little bit. If that's still not feeling available, just come into any comfortable seat. And we're going to sweep down the pericardium and triple warmer meridians. So picking up from the shoulder and sweeping down the inside of the arms, out the fingertips, and then back up the outside of the arm to the back of the neck. So sweeping from just down along the collarbones, inside of the arm, tops of hands, and then sweeping back up the back of the hand, outer edge of the arm, up the back of the neck. Go ahead and take this 3 more times. So just sweeping very gently, activating these fiery meridians of the body. So the pericardium is the sac around the heart, and triple warmer is this force of the body that regulates the heat. And then as you finish, just draw yourself back up. We're going to bring the hands to either side and just walk the hands back and lift the knees. So stretching out the tops of the feet. See if you can find 5 breaths here. With each exhalation, perhaps you can walk the hands back a little more. Keep lifting the knees. Draw the shoulder blades together. It can be pretty intense. See if you can find one more here. And then gently start walking your hands forward. Go ahead and come on to all fours. And we'll take a few cat and cow here. And any movement here that feels good. So really working into round the back, arch the back, perhaps swaying from side to side and looking over the shoulder to the foot feels nice. Perhaps churning the body, this washing machine movement. Just take any movement that feels good here as you start to find your edges. Circling the hips, churning, cat and cow. Just find where your edge is tonight. And then gently make your way back to center. Cross the feet at the ankles. And our first posture that we're going to hold tonight is going to be in Shavasana. So bring your bed pillow down, and we're going to bring the pillow just between the pelvis and the ribs. So we're going to give a little bit of lift to the belly. Make sure that the shoulders and the head are grounded on the mat. Make sure the pelvis is grounded on the mat. So whatever prop you're using, see if you can just lift in this Manipura area, the solar plexus area. And once you find that, go ahead and extend the legs long. Draw the arms out on either side. Walk the shoulder blades together. Palms shining up towards the ceiling. Let the eyes grow heavy. And just settle in to your breath. Still drawing the attention of the breath down to the belly so that you feel a little resistance in the back, even on the bolster on the pillow. We've been working through the chakras from the base. First, we worked on the earth element and the root chakra. Then we worked on the water element in the sacral chakra. And now we're working with the fire element. And really, our whole body and our whole experience on earth is based on these elements. So you have the earth element. Really, everything that makes up the body is just an accumulation of things you've eaten, things that have grown in the earth. And the water element is inside of you in every cell, that ability for the body to move fluidly is based on this fact that we're about 70% water. And as we move into the fire element, we're really thinking and working with alchemy here. We have this digestive fire, this belly fire, that digests the food, and that's what gives you action. Your body can move and use that energy from food because of this fire. See if you can find 5 more breaths here in this pose. And then go ahead and bend the feet so the knees are towards the ceiling. Lift the pelvis just a bit, and you're just going to push the bolster down to support your sacrum. So the sacrum and the pelvis are lifted now. And then once you find that, go ahead and extend the legs once again. So here, opening up a little bit more on the inner groin. Arms are relaxed at either side. And with each breath, allowing that breath to come all the way to the belly. And as you exhale, feeling this supportedness of earth, noticing where the body is touching the mat, touching the ground. Seeing if you can relax into that, making the body a little heavier on each exhalation. Go ahead and find 5 more breaths in your Shavasana with the pelvis lifted. And then go ahead and bend the knees. Walk the feet towards the pelvis. Lift the pelvis up one more time. Remove the prop from underneath you. Settle back down into your bridge prep, and then draw the knees towards the chest and just rock a little side to side. Draw the knees in a little closer, giving a little compression there in the belly. And then you can come off your back in 2 ways. You can raise the hands up overhead and roll to one side and press yourself up. Or you can bring the fingertips to the backs of the thighs and just rock and roll yourself from the pelvis to the shoulders. Either way, once you're up, we're just going to turn the body, coming back into our tabletop, and take those slow and juicy movements. So perhaps cat and cow, perhaps taking some hip circles, perhaps churning the body or swaying. Just taking whatever movement feels good and finding where your edge is. And here, just pressing into that edge just the tiniest bit. If you're taking hip circles, noticing where the circle isn't quite round, staying there and pressing into it. If you're taking cat and cow, same thing, just pressing into the poses a little bit. Go ahead and take a few more breaths here. Just finding the edges. And then we'll walk the hands out just a little bit, and we're gonna roll right onto the front side of the body, onto the belly. You can cross the forearms or wrists, and then bring your forehead down onto those arms, giving your head enough space. And go back to that belly breathing here. So feeling the the compression against the belly as you inhale. As you exhale, just releasing and settling to earth, allowing the body to just settle like dust onto the earth. Go ahead and take a few more breaths here, grounding down. On the inhale, aware of where the body is feeling that compression, and as you exhale, settling into heaviness. And then go ahead and lift the head, bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We're just gonna press back into that tabletop. Bring your bolster with you, and we're gonna come to settle into a wide leg child's pose. So toes are together, knees are wide. Bring that bolster right between the thighs, and then just settle down onto the bolster. You can bring one cheek onto the bolster. I'll let you know when we're halfway through, and you can lift the head, turn the other cheek. And if you're craving a little bit more shoulder opening today, you can bring the elbows onto the mat, hands in prayer behind the head. And that's just going to give you a little bit more opening in the shoulders. So settling in here and staying aware of the belly. Keep bringing your awareness of the breath down into the belly, noticing any sensations, textures, temperatures. And if you have one cheek down, go ahead and lift the head gently and turn so that you can get that same opening on the other side. Facing the opposite cheek onto the bolster. So Manipura is our place where we hold our identity of self. It's where the ego resides, and our idea of who we are. Sometimes our idea of who we are is placed upon us by our culture, time in which we're living, our environment, our families. Some people say that they equate it to the area where your self-esteem resides, your self-confidence, and it's really any sense of self. Go ahead and see if you can find 5 more breaths here. And if you have the hands behind the head, go ahead and extend the arms out. And then start to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Set the bolster to the side, but nearby. We'll come into a twisted child. The legs are in deer pose, deer legs. And the bolster is going to be alongside of you. So here, the left leg is bent, the foot is on top of the right thigh, the right foot is just tucked behind here. We're going to then turn to the left and just walk the belly and the torso out onto the bolster. You can start with your head facing the same way as the knees. and just settle in. And then as the body unwinds, perhaps it'll be comfortable enough for you to lift your head and look behind. If that's not available, just stay with your head facing the same way as the knees. So here in this gentle twist, starting to wring out the organs. Twisting around the center. And keep that breath expansive and long without pressing too much. Just noticing if your breath is shortened. That might mean that this is a little stressful for you. If that's happening, make sure that your head is facing the same way as the legs. Go ahead and see if you can find 5 more breaths here. And then gently start walking the hands back towards the shoulders. Walk yourself all the way back up. We'll release the knees and the feet just onto the mat right in front of you and just let both knees drop to one side. And then let both knees drop to the other side. And then we'll take that twisted child over to the other side. So just lift your bolster onto the other side of you. And then this time, right leg is bent in front, right foot on top of left thigh, left foot's tucked behind. Bring the bolster nice and close, and then just turn the body towards the bolster. Walk yourself out ever so gently. Starting with the head facing the same direction as the knees. Settling in here for a few breaths. And then if it feels available, just gently lifting the head to look behind. Staying connected to the breath here as you twist through the central channel. Perhaps finding that you can let a little bit more go on the exhalations. Releasing a little bit more deeply into this gentle twist. And see if you can find 5 more breaths here. And after another exhalation, go ahead and walk yourself back up to seated. Bringing the feet out in front of you one more time, just setting the bolster aside for now, and letting the knees once again drop from one side to the other. Feeling those edges growing open. And then we'll make our way into a bridge prep pose. So you're just gonna bring the feet to the mat, keep the knees bent, and just gently roll down onto the back. We'll start with the hands on the belly. Just feeling this inflation that happens on the inhalation and how this balloon starts to deflate on the exhalation. And then gently and slowly, you can start to work this pelvic tilt in. So as you inhale, you get this little curve in the back as the pelvis tilts towards the feet. And as you exhale, draw the belly button down towards the spine and flatten the spine onto the mat. Expel all the stale air. The pelvis stays on the mat, but perhaps you can press into the feet just the tiniest bit as you finish the exhalation to draw out all the stale air. We're going to take about 10 more breaths here. So as you inhale, pelvis tilts towards the feet. You get this natural curve in the back. As you exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine. Back flattens onto the mat. And if you're familiar with this, you can start to engage the root lock, Mula Bandha, on the exhale, drawing up the pelvic floor to expel all the stale air, and then just releasing and letting that inhale come naturally. Exhaling, pushing out all the stale air, perhaps drawing up the pelvis, the floor of the pelvis, and then as you inhale, letting yourself have that natural curve back in the back. And see if you can find 5 more rounds. Really pressing out all the stale air, and then just releasing and allowing the breath to come back into the body quite naturally. So our sense of self lives here in Manipura, and the ego is a big part of that sense of self, protecting you. So here, as you take these last few breaths, see if you can just exhale out anything that the ego is doing to protect you that you don't need protection from. Perhaps an old story, a worry, a little bit of anger. Just allow that to be released here. And after your next exhalation, just release the technique. Bring the hands out to the side. And just observe for a moment if you feel any movement or sensations in the body. Grab your block or your rolled towel or even your pillow. We're going to take another twist here. We're going to take a double leg twist. So first, go ahead and press into the feet from bridge prep. Lift the hips and just move the hips over a little to the left. Draw both legs up, bent knees. Place the block or the pillow or the towel between the legs to keep the hips in alignment, and then let both legs come over to the right. Allow this left shoulder to stay on the mat. If the left shoulder is coming up off the mat, you can place a pillow or something under the legs that might help hold the shoulder down. And then you can start with the head just gently looking towards the ceiling. And with each exhalation, just allowing the head to fall towards the left. You don't have to press the head there, just gently let it release on the exhalation. Unwinding into this twist. We use this term as a figure of speech that people have a fire in their belly when they're quite driven to do something. And so here, just having a few breaths, asking yourself, what am I driven to do? Who am I driven to be? See if you can find 5 more breaths here. On the inhale, you can keep the feet on the mat and just gently lift the knees. Remove the block. Draw the knees towards the chest and just rock a little side to side. And then we'll take that same twist to the other side. So release the feet back down to the mat. Press into the feet, lift the pelvis. This time taking the pelvis a little bit over to the right. Drawing the legs up with bent knees, place the block, bolster, towel between the legs, and then let both legs come over to the right. Starting with the head, just gazing up at the ceiling. And as the body starts to unwind, gently start allowing the head to drift to look over to the right shoulder. Letting the right shoulder be heavy. Letting the head start to unwind towards the right. And staying with that theme of what information is held there about your identity and asking yourself, what is driving me? What gives me the sense of having a fire in my belly? Let's see if you can find 5 more breaths here. As you finish that last exhalation, letting the feet stay where they're at, drawing the knees back up towards the ceiling, removing the block, gently bringing the knees in towards the chest and just rocking a little side to side. We'll come into a banana asana. So go ahead and let the legs be long. And then go ahead and walk both feet over to the left edge of your mat. And then bring the right ankle over the left. So you have a little bit of a lock there. And then inhale the hands up overhead. Draw both hands over to the left side of the mat so you can clasp the right wrist. Open up that right side body. And then just place one palm in the other. Expanding each inhalation is going to help open up the side body. Now, if your right hip is coming off the mat, come out of the pose a little bit and see if you can keep both hips on the mat. So you're taking this crescent shape, this banana shape, opening up the right side body. And to come deeper and get more out of it, just begin to expand the breath. So expand your inhalations. Let your exhalations let you be heavy on the mat. Staying with your centering thought for today's practice. May I know the truth. May I feel the truth. Go ahead and find about 5 more breaths here. And then gently draw the hands back towards center. Release the lock on the ankle. Walk the feet back towards center. Take a full body stretch, noticing if you feel any difference between the two sides of the body. Extending through the toes, extending through the fingers, and then flexing the toes, flexing the fingers and the wrists, flexing the ankles, and then release. And we'll walk both feet over to the right. Place the left foot over the right ankle. Walk both hands over to the right. Clasp the left wrist. Draw yourself a little deeper into your banana, into your crescent. And then release both palms, so one palm is just in the other. Both palms facing up. Now if the left hip is coming off the mat, come out of the pose just a bit until you can feel both hips on the mat. Taking it deeper by increasing the inhalation. So opening up this left side, this left chain of the body. And staying with that centering thought. May I feel the truth? May I know the truth? Keep that expansive breath, noticing that as you increase your inhalation, you get a little bit more space here between each rib, these little intercostal muscles. Just keep inhaling into the body to let that area unwind and release. Breathing into the side body. About 10 more breaths here. We'll slowly start to release the technique, first walking the hands back to center, and then unwinding the ankles, walking the feet back to center. Take a full body stretch, expanding through the hands, pointing the toes, and then flexing the feet, flexing the hands. And then draw the knees towards you, rock a little side to side, feel the expansiveness of the back behind the belly on the mat. And then once again, there's two ways you can get up out of here. So you can either bring the fingertips to the back of the thighs and give yourself a nice back rub from the shoulders to the tailbone, or you can roll onto one side, use that arm as a pillow, and draw yourself up. You're going to want your two props that are the same. So either two yoga blocks, two towels, two pillows, as well as your bolster. And we're going to come into that reclined butterfly for a guided relaxation. So here you really want to take time to build your nest. Make it cozy and comfy. If you have a lot of extra props, you can even make more of a wedge behind you. So you'll want something under the knees. The feet will be together in butterfly. And if you really want to settle in here, you can use something else under your bolster to give you a little bit of a wedge. So you want it kind of at an angle. So depending what you have, you can either make this wedge, you can leave the bolster just on the mat, and then bring the bolster right behind you to your sacrum. Feet are together in butterfly. If the knees are lifted, make sure you put something underneath the knees to support yourself. Now, before you lay back, you're welcome to also interlace the toes. So you can use the negative space between the toes to weave your toes together. Okay, so if that's available to you and feels good, go ahead and weave your toes together. And then you'll just settle back here. If the neck is coming off the bolster at all, make sure that you give it a little support with a rolled up towel, or perhaps your bolster's long enough that the chin stays tucked towards the chest. And once you've found your way here to this reclined butterfly, go ahead and bring the hands back to the belly. I'll guide you into relaxation with auto-suggestion, so you can just silently repeat to yourself. I relax my right shoulder. I relax my right elbow. I relax my right wrist. I relax the base of my fingers. I relax the tips of my fingers. My whole right hand and arm are completely relaxed. I relax my left shoulder. I relax my left elbow. I relax my left wrist. I relax the base of my fingers and the tips of my fingers. The whole of the left hand, arm, and shoulder are relaxed. I relax my ribs. I relax my upper back. I relax my heart. The whole of the upper torso is completely relaxed. I relax my belly. I relax my lower back. The belly and the lower back are completely relaxed. I relax my right hip. I relax my right knee. I relax my right ankle. Base of toes, tips of toes. The whole of the right foot, right leg, right hip are relaxed. I relax my left hip, my left knee, my left ankle, base of toes, tips of toes. The whole of the left foot, leg, and hip are relaxed. I relax my neck. I relax my jaw. I relax my face. The whole of the neck and head are completely relaxed. I relax my mind. I relax my mind. The whole of the body is completely relaxed. Breathe into that area underneath your hands. Say to yourself, I'm going to practice Yoga Nidra. I will not fall asleep. Breathe into the belly and allow yourself to feel the heat and the energy of the belly underneath your hands. Allow this heat and this light of Manipura to grow brighter and warmer. All of the information of your birth is stored here, swimming around this area of the umbilicus. Your connection to your ancestors that came by way of your mother, Your birthright to be born here on earth, in this time, in this space, everything you came here to do, every intention you had is stored here in this area around the belly button, around the umbilicus. Breathe into Manipura. All of the information that you were born to do, remembering of who you really are, it's spiraling around your belly button, but you've been cut off from remembering. Breathe into the belly and make space here. The fire in your belly fuels your digestion of food, which in turn fuels the actions you can take in this world. Let your breath gently fuel this Manipura fire brighter. The ego also resides in the belly, and as we grow, the ego can veil the intentions we had and the knowledge we came here with. The ego gets its feelings hurt, has a competitive nature, it wants to belong. So it starts to veil and hide your true power, your memory of who you are and who you were born to be. Let your breath gently billow this area underneath your hands on your belly, as if you were fanning the coals of a campfire, releasing what you think you know with each exhalation. And as these embers grow brighter and warmer, they begin to send up sparks and sparkle, burning away your worries, your undigested emotions, the pain the ego has accumulated. With your breath, billow this fire. Let it grow stronger. Let it alchemize and digest these old emotions. Let it set fire to the stories that you're still carrying around that no longer serve you. Breathe into the belly and let that fire shine bright to reveal the solar nature of Manipura. Let yourself remember and make conscious the information that is stored here. Take a deep breath in and ask yourself, who am I? Erase the name, erase the gender, allow your age and the generation you were born into to just eclipse. And breathe into the belly once again and ask yourself, who am I? Erase the nationality, the ethnicity. Let your degrees or your jobs eclipse behind the solar nature of Manipura. Take a deep breath in and ask yourself again, who am I? Remove all the labels that have been given to you. And ask yourself again, who am I? With each inhaling breath, see the embers of the solar plexus energy center growing brighter. With each exhale, let the sparkle of this fire grow in all directions, burning away all that stands in your way of remembering. Who am I? And without changing anything or adding any effort, notice your breath. Just observe yourself and notice, naming the action as you do it. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. We take our first breath when we are born, and our last upon our death. Our breath marks our time in this life. Notice any thoughts, feelings, ideas, whisperings that come to you as you begin to integrate this relaxed state into your conscious awareness. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Begin to notice small movements of the belly under your hands. Continue to let this relaxation integrate, this remembering of who you are, integrating into your conscious awareness. Aware of the breath, aware of the body in complete relaxation. Awareness of who you are, awareness of what you are. Awareness of who you came here to be. Breathing into the relaxation of the body and the relaxation of the mind. Begin taking gentle movements, becoming more aware of this human suit that you're wearing as you gently move the fingers, the toes, the wrists, the ankles. Becoming more aware of the body as you look to one shoulder and then the other, gently rocking the head from side to side. Extending the legs. And gently waking up your human suit. Integrating this consciousness, these whisperings from your higher self, as you become more aware and if you'd like to stay in Shavasana, you can just roll to one side and remove the pillow. and roll back onto your back. If you're ready to awaken from the nidra, you can roll to one side and gently make your way up to find a comfortable seat. Whether you decide to stay in Shavasana or you're in a comfortable seat, go ahead and keep the eyes heavy for just a moment more. Just aware of this sparkling fire inside of you, this warmth, this heat. Imagining it expanding in all directions around you, letting your light shine. We'll seal the practice with the sound of Om. You can join me if you wish, or you can let the vibration roll through you. If you're joining me, you can inhale the hands up and have a blank breath as you exhale, drawing the hands back to prayer center. On the next exhalation, letting the vibration roll through you. We say namaste as a recognition of each other's light. Recognizing that we are made of the same light. All wearing these different human costumes, but all made of the same light. Namaste. Thank you for allowing me to guide your practice this evening. The space may be available to you at any time. May you know the truth. May you find the truth. May you feel the truth.